All right, guys, how to get your right shoulder forward through the ball during the downswing. One of the most important pieces to hit the ball consistently solid. I've got an awesome drill and concept for you today. I've been waiting to do since we filmed with Craig, and you saw those videos last month. That's a little add-on to our shoulder tilt. I'm going to show you here as the video goes on. Really excited about that. But first, we're going to go through the concept of how the trail shoulder works during the backswing and downswing, why it's so important, and then I'll give you that awesome drill that you can use to hit the ball solid. Now, first things first, we look at the trail shoulder. Let's just talk through some of the basics here. Now, when I take my setup position, right, I've got my trail shoulder here where it is at setup. And now we're going to see Tiger from the face-on version. If I drew a wall up my right shoulder, looked from face on, we're going to notice the right shoulder during the backswing has two main motions. It's going to work up away from the ground and around, like back behind me towards the target. So the right shoulder works up away from the ground and back behind me. Up away from the ground and back behind me. Okay? Now, if that's true, from my setup to the top, that my right shoulder worked up and back around, that means that on the way down, just to get back where I was, I've got to do the reverse of that. Instead of moving up and back around, I've got to move down towards the ground and forward towards the target. Now, the trick is that we don't hit the ball at impact from our setup position, do we? Our chest and shoulders are even more open and more forward at impact than they were at setup, which means not only do I need to reverse what I did on the way back, my trail shoulder went up and back around me, not only does it need to go down and forward just to get back to my setup position, it's got to go even more down and forward to get to a good impact position, right? If I look something like this. Now, why is that so important before we do the drills and feels? The shoulder going down, the down part, right? It goes up on the way back, it goes down on the way down. The down part serves two distinct functions. Number one, the down part helps get down to the golf ball, meaning get the club low enough to be able to hit the ball first, ground second. Right, you can see with my shoulders down and forward how I'm able to have shaft lean, good contact. If my shoulder never went down, if it stayed up, the only way to get down to the ball, if I even could, would be to really release my right arm and my right wrist too early. So some of you who have this early release, poor contact, inconsistent game comes because you don't get your trail shoulder down and forward enough. The other reason it's important for it to go down, we'll see this from the down the line angle, is for the club path to work from inside. If my trail shoulder goes up on the way back and it stays up, we'll show this from both angles. If it stays up on the way down, notice what happens to my club shaft. Where's that going? Very steep and over the top. High right shoulder on the way down, steep shaft. Low right shoulder on the way down, shallow shaft. So some of you that are swinging too far over the top is because your shoulder doesn't go down enough on the way down and through. Now, we've also got the forward component, right? Your shoulder goes up and back around. So it's got to go down, we just covered that, but it also has to go forward towards the target, right? Now, why does it have to go forward? It's got to go forward for the purpose of solid contact. When I get my shoulder forward, that enables me to hit ball first, ground second, and have shaft lean. Notice when I have my shoulder back, if my shoulder doesn't go forward, even if it goes down, how do I get to the golf ball? Right, I'm going to hit lots of fats and thins if my shoulder doesn't go forward. Again, I have to early release my right arm and right wrist just to get to the golf ball. Bad contact, inconsistent. So the solution is down and forward. Now, how much do we do it and how do we do it? Well, I've got this little line on the ground here that I built in, and this is from the drill we did with Craig Hansen, where in the backswing, Craig said the left shoulder and the shoulder tilt should be about 40 degrees. And we'll show Justin Thomas here from the down the line. You can see the shoulder tilt on the way back, the yellow line, is about 40 degrees. We draw a line from my shoulders down to those golf balls. But the downswing, here's the key, the downswing The right shoulder and the shoulder tilt needs to be steeper, more down, more vertical relative to the backswing. Roughly speaking, like Craig said, just for the math geeks out there, we like 40 degrees on the way back, about 55 on the way down. Okay, so more down or steeper. Now in terms of the forward part, we want to see the right shoulder get forward to the point where it gets in line with the golf ball by about the time the right arm's parallel to the ground, the follow through, and we'll show you the old Tiger for that one. So from the top, it goes up and back. And then as we start to come down, the shoulder goes forward to the point where it gets in line with the golf ball by arms parallel, not way back behind that. So we need the right shoulder to go down and forward because it went up and back on the way back. We need it to go down to be able to have solid contact to get to the ball and swing from inside. We need it to go forward to move our low point forward to reduce any fats and thins and get that shaft lean. Specifically, we want the shoulders to turn down at about a 55-degree angle. Like how far down should they go? About 55 degrees. Steeper or inside that wall on the way down. How far forward? About in line with the golf ball when the right arm's parallel to the ground. Say, Eric, that sounds great. How do I practice that? Luckily for you, I've got lots of good drills. My favorite one that I like to do, okay, my favorite one is to put your club across your shoulders with the butt of the club about here on your left shoulder and the club to the right with the club face pointed up, just like this. So when I take my posture, the leading edge is tilted down about the same as my spine angle. Now what I like to do, right, you can make a backswing where you get that left shoulder feel like it's about at that wall. And when you come down, I actually want you to feel your right shoulder with that club face, like that's pointed right behind the golf ball. So if I close my left eye and keep my right eye open, that club literally looks right behind the golf ball. Now this is slightly exaggerated. Okay, if we drew a line down my shoulders right now to the ground, this is slightly exaggerated. That should probably point out here somewhere. But that's the point. If your shoulder's not going down enough, it needs to feel exaggerated. Okay, it needs to feel exaggerated. Now, when we made the backswing tilt, okay, if we reference this ball line here, Craig said to put this golf ball, you know, about a meter outside the first ball. It's about the backswing tilt. And he said, put the first ball just behind the setup ball. And I like that because that gives you simultaneously the correct amount of tilt you need. How far down should my left shoulder go? And the turn, how far back? It should point at about that first golf ball. Now I like to use that the opposite way for the downswing in that not only does my shoulder need to go down, how much? I feel like the club's about at the golf ball, which in reality is going to point somewhere in here inside the wall. But I also want to make sure it gets forward of this ball here. So I get the rotation part, right? The forward part. So I'm not only going down, but I'm going forward. I make sure it points forward of it. Now, as I'm doing that drill, there's two key feels. Number one is a right side oblique crunch, and number two is getting the trail knee forward. So when we're doing this drill together, let's do this together. Take our normal setup. Again, you don't need to get this far down. Okay, it's a little exaggerated, but like Craig says, the closer you get to the checkpoints, the better you hit. The closer you get, the better you hit. So even if you can't physically go the whole way, a little bit of improvement is still going to help our ball striking. So as we get this club down in line right behind the golf ball, I'm feeling my whole right side oblique crunching. And if you can't get in line with the golf ball, get a little bit outside of it. That's totally fine. Just make sure it's inside this wall like that Justin Thomas model, or as close as you can get. I'm feeling my right side oblique crunching. Notice my right knee. The second piece of the puzzle is I'm allowing my right knee to go forward. Just like Craig said in one of our other videos, we're trying to get the knee about in line with the golf ball when I get my body to this position. When I'd be getting my body to this position in a real hit, this is like past impact. Okay, that's where I'm feeling like my arms would be out in front. Right side oblique crunch, shoulder down and forward, right knee to the golf ball. So I like one or two of those little feels. Right shoulder down, right knee forward. Notice my right knee is working towards my left knee. My right knee's not working forward towards the ball. All of a sudden, my shoulder's too far back. My right knee's working forward towards my left knee or the target, in line with the golf ball as I have that right side crunch. So I'm gonna do 1 or 2 rehearsals, get a feel there, and then I'm gonna hit feeling the same thing. Right shoulder down, right knee forward. My goal is for this to get my right shoulder down and forward for consistent, solid contact. Right side oblique crunch, right knee forward. And that, as you like for me to say, is as good as I could possibly hit my Tacoma 101 7-iron. Now I'm gonna steal a ball from the back of this wall here, a little plug different Tacoma, no big deal. And I'm gonna practice that same thing. I'm gonna feel my right side crunching as my right knee goes forward towards my left. My right side crunching as my right knee goes forward towards my left. Not in towards the ball, not in towards the ball, towards my left, towards my left. Right side oblique crunch, right knee in towards the left. This is true for all clubs. Right side oblique crunch, right knee in towards the left. Okay, one quick caveat for you guys with this. As your trail shoulder goes down and forward, and your upper body and your right side of your rib cage is gonna feel closer to the ground, A, you probably won't actually be as close to the ground as you feel. But B, if you do literally lower, remember I said earlier, if your shoulder stays up too high or back too far, that both of those would mean that you need to prematurely straighten your right arm and right wrist to get to the golf ball, meaning you're really lengthening that out. Now, what a good ball striker would do and what we need to do as the shoulder goes down and forward, since I'm not so far from the ground, if I keep lengthening my right arm and wrist, I'm gonna hit fat behind the ball. So usually what you need to do with this, which is good, is as your trail shoulder is working down and forward and your rib cage feels closer to the ground, your trail arm is gonna feel a little more bent through impact, and your trail wrist might feel like it's a little bit bent, a little bit longer. Is that too much to do at one time? Definitely not. Do you need to do that? Only if you're hitting it fat when you feel your shoulder down. Okay, is it okay to do those at the same time? Absolutely, that's what the best ball strikers do. So as my shoulder's going down and forward, right side crunch, right? As my right knee is working in towards the left, boom, look at that feel. I feel so good. Obviously my hips are rotating, right? But I'm feeling the shoulder down, the right knee forward in line with the golf ball. I'm gonna feel like my right arm and wrist stay a little bit more bent, a little bit longer through impact. Right oblique crunch, right knee forward. Yeah, and there's my solid high draw 7-iron. So right shoulder down and forward is a really, really, really key part of the downswing. Really key. Okay, if you want solid, consistent contact. Now, if you have any questions about this, leave me a comment down below. Would love for you to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, that really, really helps us out. Click that like button. If you want to get private coaching, right, and you can't come flying and see me in person, CogornoGolf.com. Send your swings in there. I find a lot of the people we're working with aren't improving because you're not really finding and fixing the true root cause of your swing. But once we're able to do that, you're able to improve fast and it's permanent. That's what we're doing at CogornoGolf.com for a fraction of the price with literally the best online golf coaches in the world. Would love to see you there. Put the link down in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching.